I'm Franz Mauelshagen. I'm an environmental historian specializing in the histories of disaster and climate. And before I came to the Carson Center, I was head of the Climate and Culture program at the Institute for Advanced Study in the Humanities in Essen. Here at the Carson Center, I'm working on what I call the climatological revolution of the 18th century. In antiquity, climate was not a meteorological category. That is something that hasn't been understood quite well. If you look at the recent literature on the climate ideas prior to 1800, it was simply not a meteorological category. It was a geographic category closely connected with astronomy and astronomical knowledge. But then it became a meteorological category, and what I wanted to show is that it became a meteorological category in the 18th century. So this is the most important change for my work in itself, but also to illustrate that change, I think it is important to notice that the first time when people started speaking about climate change was actually the 18th century. The term is used as a description of what actually colonizers do, the effort they make to change local climates and improve them, particularly through deforestation. So to make land arable actually was the idea back then. And they had an idea that might change climate, at least local climate conditions. So we have a early form of geoengineering even involved in here and in actively changing the climate. The colonial experience is essential in my story. It's a key to my story. And the reason is that the experience of European colonizers, the experience of unfamiliar environments, is actually something that broke up traditional ideas about climate. In many ways, there was new experience with climatic conditions in the tropics, temperatures, high precipitation, extreme events, windstorm, for example, hurricanes, tropical typhoons. But then climate also entered colonizers' debates and also the political debates of colonizers. It was important in the economic context when Europeans started growing cash crops in the colonies. It was just as essential to get reliable knowledge about climatic conditions that would influence crop growth in the colonies, just as important as it was to gain botanical knowledge about the plants that they were actually growing. That goes together in one scheme. We've had enormous debates about climatology and climate change very recently. And climatology has gone through another big revolution in the 20th century, particularly now that it has been connected with the earth sciences so closely. And that's a scientific revolution that will also get to the humanities in the future and involve the humanities. So I think it is important to look at earlier changes, earlier revolutions within climatology in both the 18th and the 19th century, to have the entire picture of the development prior to the 20th century and understand, maybe even understand the whole period, the whole story of climatology as one story of ongoing revolution.